Welcome to Cherokee Now. Today we have Jose Guerrero joining the show. Welcome to the show, Jose.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about the LGBTQ group at Analenisgi. What are you guys doing?
It's called We Belong, and it started a couple of years ago. A peer support worker there, Jill Wright-Smith. I met her, and it was shortly after my mother had passed away. I started getting support from Analenisgi. My therapist had mentioned that Jill Wright-Smith was a gay advocate.
Okay.
And started talking with her one day, just about everything that was going on in my life at that point. And it really just started with us two sitting together and talking about life and what it meant to be gay, and especially here in Cherokee.
Right.
And we just talked more and felt like something like this was needed here in the community.
Great. So what are some of the goals of the group? What are you guys trying to accomplish with this?
Basically, we just want people to feel comfortable with who they are here in town. In Native American history, we were referred as two spirits, and that was people that identified as both male and female. They had both spirits within them, and they were very highly regarded back then. They were put up with the chiefs. They had great power, and it was considered a blessing to have someone like that in your family. Okay. They were raised kind of non-gender specific. They felt like their identity would come as they got older, and so they held great positions like shaman, medicine men, and whenever colonization came about, whenever the white man arrived, they brought religion, and that kind of took away from the two-spirited people. So it became less and less likened, I guess.
Okay.
They were kind of pushed back into the closet.
Gotcha. So the attitudes kind of changed toward the tradition, I guess, what that was.
And so I guess years went by, and it just became less and less of a thing. And I would just like to see that brought back to Cherokee, because I understand that it is a small town, and religion does hold a big
What struggles have you had personally with that in the community?
I mean, growing up, whenever I came out, my family wasn't very supportive of it.
Right.
My grandparents were, but my immediate family, my mother and father, they did not approve. And I was told basically that if I were to live that lifestyle, I would be no longer welcome in the house.
Oh, wow.
So I left on my own accord, and over the years, it got a little bit easier. They became more accepting, and unfortunately, both my parents have passed away now, but before they died, they knew who I was, and they were proud of who I am.
And that's what's important. I mean, just inclusion, acceptance. We're all the same people,
yes. Mm-hmm.
regardless of who you love or what you're into. So how often are the meetings that take place?
We hold the We Belong meetings every Wednesday at 5 p.m., and it runs for about an hour long. Okay. We do different themed meetings, like one night we'll watch a gay themed movie, or we'll do stick meetings, and that's just basically a popsicle stick with different topics written on either side. You can share on those, or just check in how you're feeling.
Does there feel like there's a good bit of support in the community for
yes and no. We are part of the Bible Belt, so I have gotten a lot of backlash from the religious community. Okay. I am part of two churches here in Cherokee, Christ Fellowship and Yellow Hill Baptist, which is the oldest church here in Cherokee. And coming back into religion, I am 5 months in recovery from drugs and alcohol, and the NA program is spiritually based. Okay. It's not religious per se, but there are spiritual principles that we follow. So this go around, I started looking at those principles more and more, and went to church one day, and the covenant that was up on the wall was a word for word what those spiritual principles were. So I was like, something clicked there. And I lost touch with religion many years ago when my father passed away. Right. I felt like he took him away from me, and I blamed him. And it's wrong thinking, but now that I've gotten back into church, both those churches I straight up went up to them and asked them what their stance was on homosexuality and religion. And both answers I got exactly the same. Read the Bible and see what it says to you.
Okay.
They neither condoned it nor approved of it, but I feel welcome at both of those churches.
Good. So who can join? Who can
Anyone can join. LGBTQ, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, questioning, or queer. And we also would like allies and supporters to join as well. Family members, anyone that needs support for coming out, accepting who you are, having your family accept you, just
Right.
anything that you need, we would love to be able to support.
Right.
And we do have peer supporters there, so there are certified people that know what they're saying.
Does it cost anything to join?
No cost, no fees. You're a member when you say you are.
Okay. and you can just who can you contact to maybe get more information or follow up?
You can contact Analenisgi, the Behavioral Health Services here in Cherokee. That's where we hold our meetings, and Jill Wright-Smith.
Right.
You can also contact myself, Jose Guerrero. I'm on Facebook, and there is a We Belong page on Facebook.
Okay, great.
It's titled We Belong, and I'm the admin on there. And there are flyers that I put up all over Cherokee and the surrounding towns with my number on it. And I can give my number.
That's fine. Yeah.
It's
you can share your number.
828-736-4839.
Okay.
And
Now, why is this important for our community? I mean, I think outside of the historical grief and trauma that we all have suffered as a nation, as a people, there seems to be also an additional piece of grief and trauma that comes with this as well. Why is this important for our community to have this support group?
I feel like the LGBTQ community is pretty much non-existent here in Cherokee. It's very closeted. It's not spoken about.
Right.
And I know several people that are out and gay in Cherokee, but they just don't talk about it. They don't
Right.
bring it up. And I just want it to be something that's accepted.
Right.
I'm tired of hiding who I am for any reason at
Right.
all. I learned early on that there was no need to hide who you were. And if people have a problem with it, that's their inventory, not mine. And I mean, the statistics speak for themselves. The youth in the gay community, they are suffering greatly because of these identity issues, because they're not accepted. Suicide, depression, mental illness is a big problem, and they usually turn to drugs and alcohol to kind of escape those realities.
So that's a factor that we hope we can address with this. It's to give an outlet for folks to say, hey, it's okay. It's you are who you are. We love you. And you don't need to turn to those facets or factors or whatever to push that away. You need to just be here and be yourself and be a part of this community. Good. Okay. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say about the program before we close out for the day?
Just that I'm very grateful for Analenisgi and Jill. It's been a long journey, and I just want this to get off the ground, start getting some movement, and in the future, I would like to offer like community services, helping out the community, showing people that we are here and we're no different than you, and we shouldn't be treated any less.
Right.
I just want to give back, because for so long I took and I abused, and now that I'm in recovery, 5 months, I focus on stuff like this to keep me grounded and humble. I do NA meetings constantly, the We Belong support group, church, exercise, and it's service work, so it's giving back, and it makes me feel a lot better about myself, and I just want others to feel better about themselves.
Everybody has a place. Everybody has a responsibility in this community, and everybody needs to know their value and that they have value.
Yes.
And it's time for us all to come together and start to establish and hold each other accountable to that value. Hey, you got work to do, and it sounds like you're doing your work.
Oh yeah.
So I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, good. Well, Jose, keep up the good work, and I hope folks out there that have a need for this service come and join you guys. And let's improve this community together. This is certainly one of those areas that we've got to start having those discussions about and doing our thing. Just being community members, tribal members again. Well, thank you very much. That'll be it for today. If you're listening at home and would like to comment on the show or ask any questions regarding what we've discussed today, please comment on our EBCI Cherokee Now Facebook page at facebook.com/Cherokee Now. We'll see you again very soon. David, I don't know you.